Howdy folks, Big Anklovich here. It is time for the reckoning. It is the end of the October Carnivore Challenge, and we now have to talk about just how we did. How did we do? Let's head in and check it out here on Big Anklovich on health. Okay, so October has come to an end, and October is always a bad month for me because that's my birthday month, and worse probably than that is near the end of the month is my birthday, and so I don't know if everybody's inclined to do that like me, but I'm inclined to do stuff that to eat stuff that I wouldn't normally when it's birthday time. It's celebration time, right? That's what we've been taught our whole life. That's how you celebrate, is eat. Now, at the very least, in my defense, I didn't eat anything, off carnivore. I celebrated by eating pork rinds and cheese and stuff like that. So, my failures are minimal in comparison to what they used to be. They're not going to damage my health that much, but they still do. As you may remember, if you've been watching the videos all month long, I ate a bunch of cheese, and I've said it on here a bunch of times. Carnivore allows for cheese if you can handle cheese. However, I cannot handle cheese. I am not a person that does well with cheese. I'm not a person that does well with dairy. I have a bad time with it. Dairy gives me stomach problems, gives me digestion problems. I ate cheese, and after eating cheese, man, did I have some stomach problems. And I was feeling so bad one week that I was starting to think, oh man, I may need to go to the doctor about this because this is really bad and it's not going away as fast as I thought it would. Luckily it did go away and I was okay. But then I stupidly, less than a week later, just ate more cheese. And I don't know, I get frustrated with myself. Sometimes I'm doing fine, sometimes I'm doing great, and other times I'm not. It's kind of a roller coaster. And maybe that's just life. Maybe we're always kind of going up and going down, never just driving along steady. But I'm irritated with myself because I was so close to my goal. There was a point this month, I think it was this month, pretty sure it was, that I weighed 193.1 or 0.2, I don't know how it works, point something, pounds. That's how far down I was. 185 is my ultimate goal. That's where I think that I should be. That's what I weighed when I was in high school. And I think I need to get to 185, look at myself and be like, okay, is this good? Is this where I should be? And I was just a couple pounds from that. I was almost there, and instead I went in the opposite direction. So I got on the scale this morning. I didn't really want to because I knew how bad it was going to be. I got on, I weighed myself. I weighed 208.6, I think it was. Now, if we go back to the end of last month, what was my final score for that month? And I was kind of bummed at that month because I'd gone a little bit up right before the end. My final score there was 197.8, I think. I think it's 8. 197 anyways. So that's almost 11 pounds that I put on. And most of that has come within the last 2 weeks. The good thing about that is that it should come off pretty easily. When you put on weight real easily, it also comes off real easily. You just got to be good. You can keep putting it on, and the longer that you keep putting it on, then the harder it is to get off when you're done. But I think within a couple of weeks, I could be back down to 197 as long as I am faithful. And so I've got to do that. I've got to, not be my own worst enemy. So that is my plan for this month. And I mentioned this before, that I was planning on doing this and I was trying to get started. I said I was going to get started with it when my birthday was passed, but I didn't. I just kept eating bad. So November is the start of it. It is ground beef only month. That's all I'm going to eat. I'm not going to eat anything else. Except there are two caveats, okay? Number one, November is Thanksgiving, and I think my wife's plan is for us to smoke a turkey out in the smoker for this Thanksgiving, so I'll probably eat some of that. Smoked turkey's pretty good, I'll have to say, but I don't think that that will be a big problem. Turkey is not really a problem. It's not something that has a lot of calories. It's not something that's going to ruin me. And if it, sets me back a bit, it'll set me back a day tops. So I am probably going to partake in the celebration of the Thanksgiving turkey, the smoked turkey. But that's all I'll eat. I'm not eating the yams or the other stuff. So don't have to worry about that. That's the one caveat. Now there's one other caveat. This is something I actually planned to do this for my birthday, and then I ruined it by eating a bunch of cheese beforehand. There's this farm here close that does raw dairy, and I've been wanting for a long time just to try raw dairy and see if that is different, because I've heard some people say that when they pasteurize the dairy, it denatures the proteins and it causes people to have indigestion and stomach problems. And that if you have problems with dairy, it may not be dairy, but pasteurized dairy, that's the problem. So I just wanted to try it out. Found this farm that was right here, and I was gonna go to it 2 weekends ago. And I ate a bunch of cheese, and then my stomach just went south. I had horrible indigestion, terrible pains in my stomach. And so it wasn't gonna do any good to go and try raw dairy, because I was having problems already, so there's no way to know if this caused me problems because I was already having problems. And then the next week came. I was going to do it this past weekend here. I was going to do it today, November 1st, and I ate more cheese. And I thought, oh shoot, I can't do it again. But probably next weekend we're going to go, because I swear it will be done, that I will be good.
I swear it will be done.
And so I won't be having troubles, and I'll be able to try it. So probably next Saturday, I will also have my one other caveat where I'm going to try some raw dairy and see if my stomach can handle it. And those will be my two caveats. The rest of the entire month is going to be 100% beef, ground beef. Now I will allow myself to have, roast, like if I find a chuck roast that's really cheap, or steak or something. It's got to be beef, but for the most part it's just going to be ground beef, because ground beef is the cheapest way to get beef, and that's probably what I'll be doing. So that is my plan. I'm going to stick to it all the way through the month and see if I can do as well as I did in November. Or sorry, this is November. See if I can do as well as I did in April, back when I did this the last time. I did really well, lost a lot of weight, and it was a really positive month for me, and I didn't want it to be another positive month. And it may well be that it's just positive enough that it gets me back to where I started from at the start of October. And that would be kind of a bummer, but at least that would be a jumping off point. And then December I can keep going, and we'll see just how long it can be until I get to my actual final goal of 185. Will I hit it? Sometime soon I will. I swear it will be done.
I swear it will be done.
That is my plan. That's what I'm going to do. And so far, it's November 1st. I'm sticking to it so far. So hopefully I can keep going past day one. So let's go see what Marshall had happen to him on November. It's probably going to be ugly for him too, unfortunately. Let's go see what he's got to say.
Hey carnivores, hey everybody. This is Marshal here for a wrap-up of October. How did I do? As you probably already know from the earlier videos, I think I did really well for the majority of the month. I stayed with beef, butter, bacon, and egg pretty much most of the month. There may be a couple little things here and there where I didn't completely follow beef, butter, bacon, and egg, and had, something like, pork, but not pork belly or bacon, or I can't remember some of the other examples, other than the last a couple weeks. Well, no, in the last week of October, right? I messed up and ate a bunch of cheese and pepperoni and sausage and pizza tops and stuff. And I did have a little bit of dessert pizza things that day too. I forgot to, hopefully I fessed up to that when I recorded that. And so that was a bad day. And even though I had some other good things that day, that took it out. But then the worst, the most offensive thing that I did against my plans to for the carnivore way of eating was I went and had a pumpkin pie blizzard, which was junk, which was garbage. Yeah, I did enjoy the taste. I can't say that I didn't. But there were some not immediate, but soon to be felt repercussions for that. My body did not like me partaking of that. My taste buds enjoyed it, but my body did not, and it let me know. And I wasn't totally miserable, but there was some feedback from my body on that. And just psychologically, I knew that I had blown it. It was the last week of the month. It was within the last 4 days, right? 5 days at least of the month. And so I knew that I wasn't going to come out very well on the scale. And I weighed in this morning. It's November 1st. And I guess I did lose weight. I lost 2.1 pounds. But I have been weighing myself occasionally throughout the month, and I had lost 8 pounds at one point, or a little over 8 pounds at one point. But because of my mistakes, because of my lack of willpower, or whatever you want to call it, I gained back up almost so that I didn't make any progress. But I did make 2.1 pounds, right? Yeah, 2.1 pounds. So that's quite disappointing, actually. It's I blew it. I keep saying I self-sabotage. I got to stop doing that. Why? I enjoyed the taste for a little bit, and it was fun to go do something like that with my family. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. It wasn't planned or anything. It was like, hey, let's go do this. So we all jumped in the truck and went and did that. I was all proud of not having any candy, but I might as well have. I might as well have had a bowl of Twizzlers, or I don't really like Twizzlers that much. But anyway, I just, whatever comes in the candy packs, I might as well have. But no, I blew it, and I know I did, and I knew while I was doing it. And now I'm living with that, no consequence. I know it's not the end of the world, but it is disappointing. It is, especially doing these live daily videos. I feel like I'm letting not just me down, but Big and everybody else that kind of follows us on this. I'm like some of these other carnivore people on YouTube that, talk all the talk about how they're going to do all this stuff and how they feel great. And then they blow it and they don't lose weight. They gain weight. And then they're back on the right track, and then they blow it again. And it's frustrating to follow somebody that's doing that. And I am my worst enemy in that regards right now. And so I'm sorry to give you that experience. But I'm more sorry that I'm doing it to myself. So what am I going to do different for November? How am I going to double down? Do I need to double down, or do I just need to be consistent? I think I need to be consistent. One thing I'm going to change, and I know I bucked against this in the past, but I'm going to weigh in every week. I need to be more accountable week to week. I can't just say, oh, it's all right if I, don't fast for a while, because I can really fast at the end of the month and lose a bunch of weight or whatever. But it was working for me a couple of years ago. Okay, what's it going to be at the end of the month? And I didn't weigh myself until the end of the month. And I really wanted a big number, so I worked hard for that big number. Evidently, that's not working this time around. So I'm going to have to report once a week on how much I've lost. Or what does it look like on the scale? And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be more accountable, more transparent in my weight loss. And again, I say that I know it's not just about the scale, but a lot of the motivation for it to be healthy is to lose this weight. I'm morbidly obese. I'm way over what I should be. I'm not even close. And so I need to be losing weight. That's my path right now. I need to be losing weight. So that's what I'm going to do. As far as eating wise, I think I'm going to stick with, I don't know. Now I feel wishy-washy, but I'm going to do beef, butter, bacon, and egg. But if I have a pork chop that's not part of that, that's okay. But it can't be, oh, that's all I'm eating is others like chicken and a bunch of other stuff. But if I happen to have we have pork loin to cook up and I eat that, that's not going to be a terrible thing. But for the most part, I'm going to stick with beef, butter, bacon, egg. I'm going to keep staying away from the cheese and the sour cream and stuff. Not that it's terrible, but because I need to be strict with myself. Not as punishment for myself, but the narrower the lanes that I keep, the further from the edge that I stay, right? The old tale about the horses, how the stagecoach to people, they're trying to get people. Anyway, but the one guy, he goes as fast as he can and gets, close to the edge, but goes around the hills or whatever. And I'm such a good stagecoach driver that I can afford to do that. Where the other guy said, that he went a little bit slower, wasn't as fast, but he was safer and stayed away from the edge of the cliff and stuff like that. So I need to stay away from the edge of the cliff. So I'm going to avoid the cheese and the sour cream and other, I guess that's dairy, right? Stay away from that. Stay true to the beef, butter, bacon, and egg in that regards. But again, every once in a while, if I have some other kind of meat, that's good. Not sausage, not ham or salami or pepperoni or something like that. I definitely won't do that. But if it's just regular pork, if it's more lean pork, it's not bacon or pork belly, that's okay. Maybe chicken, but I haven't been eating much chicken anyway. We're gonna have a little preview ahead. We're gonna have brisket for Thanksgiving dinner. Stay away from the turkey. I mean, not that there's anything bad with turkey, but come on, brisket versus turkey. Yeah, brisket. So I already have plans to do that. And my wife's happy because that means I'm cooking instead of her. So I don't know why that works out, but I'm a man. I cook brisket. So anyway, I'm being long-winded in this. But yeah, we're going to do a lot better in November. And no more pumpkin pie blizzards. No more eggnog, that kind of stuff. My wife already said, I'm not buying eggnog this year. I'm like, all right. I'm looking forward to a good month, and I'm going to weigh in every week. And so I'll talk about it more. You'll hear all about that as we go through the month of November. I guess this is still the awesome autumn, but we shall see. All right, have a good one. Bye.
Oh, Marshall. Well, at least you had some positive gain. I mean, I gained a ton of weight. You lost some weight, so that's a little bit better. But yeah, let's keep at it. Let's get to it. Let's do this. We can do it. I believe in you. Hopefully you believe in me. Let's do this. We're going to have a good month. It's going to be a triumph. All right, folks, we'll see you next time. We'll see you for our wrap-up of November 1st. the next video here on Big Ankovich on Health.